Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable right here on Facebook at our main fan page for Star Nations. And today is Wednesday, June 5th. I don't know why I have to look at the calendar. I just wrote that date just not too long ago on a piece of paper, June 5th. And here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I am broadcasting from at the Star Nations Academy, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful day out there. We're supposed to have like 83 degrees today. Yay! Yay! And it's blue skies and sunny. So it's a happy day here, that's for sure. Anytime that we can have some warm weather, right? So you can actually not have to wear a jacket. That's true. All right. So before we get too far down the road, I'm going to take my phone and I am going to like and share our live stream. And I would invite you to do the same. And, we do this almost every day, right? And the reason why we ask you guys to help us share it out and to like it is for a couple of different reasons. We know that even though Facebook does a lot of changes, there's something that's consistent. And that consistency is in the likes, the shares, and the comments, right? That's one reason why. But the more important reason is because those who might be looking for a conversation like this or spiritual information, there might just be starting out on their journey and they're looking for information, right? You remember what that was like. So in our shares, it gets us into the news feed a little bit more, and we're easier to find, right? Because, oh my gosh, there's so much information out on Facebook that something can get buried really, really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm sending my sharing over to my news feed so that my friends know that I'm live streaming. And that asking them to please join us. There we go. We'll send that out. And it doesn't take too long. I do this so often. I have all those quick keys now. Yay. It doesn't take long. Especially if I have to spell. And, spelling on those small keys, easy to misspell something. Well, I see Stephanie's been in the house because she's got all kinds of posts for us about what's going on at Star Nations. And so you guys have the information at your fingertips. Got to scroll up. There we are. Here we are. And hey, Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. Oh, I love you too. I hope you're doing well, doing better than you were the other day. A little bit better each day, right? Right. And we have Edward's here too. Hello, Edward. He says, waves from Liverpool, UK. It's not 83 degrees here. I bet not. It's probably evening too, right? It's probably nighttime. Actually, Edward, we get here at Star Nations, we are a global community. We have people who listen and watch our live stream shows. We have 13 of them here at Star Nations, all spiritually based and come with many different perspectives. And so we have our live stream shows, but we also have our Star Nations magazine, and that's read from all over the world as well. And I have to let you know that we have actually one live stream host. His name is Mervyn Kelly. His show is called From Star to Stone, and it's on the second Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. He is from England, and he brings to us the Druid point of view and information. So thank you for being here with us. I appreciate you being up in the evening. I think it's probably 9 o'clock there, maybe ish, something like that. Yeah. So I appreciate you being here. Rochelle, thank you so much. You shared. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Jackie's here too. Hello, Jackie. Waving back at you. And Edward says, yep, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. So it's not too late. And Rochelle says, I'm coming along. Thanks for asking. That's good. That's good. For those of you who don't know that Rochelle had knee surgery, knee replacement a few days ago. And she hasn't really missed much of the Star Nations shows. She's been in the chats. I think you missed your day of your surgery and maybe the day after, but has been with us on the chats. You know, she's convalescing. So she at least gets to hang out with us for a bit, right? And Christina's here too. Hey, Christina, good to have you here. Excellent. Some from over on the East Coast. Okay. So today, today's cards, it was a very interesting morning here. Mom had a visit with her palliative nurse, and that took most of the morning. And so that's why I didn't get the show information posted until later in the morning than I usually do. And so when I was doing the card draws, I was just finally finishing my breakfast. And so I didn't have a whole lot of time to spend with the cards like I usually do. Okay. And so today we're going to be doing it together. And for those of you who are just joining us, these are the cards that we're currently using. It's called the Lakota Sweat Lodge cards by authors Chief Archie Fire Lame Deer and Helen Sarkis. It's copyrighted in 1993. It is out of print, although you can get used books and used decks of cards. And I've been told that many of the decks that are being ordered are in pretty good condition. So if you're interested in having this deck, it's still kind of available. All right, so we're going to get right to it because I think this is going to be another interesting read. That's going to be for sure. Okay, so here we go. This is the first card. Now, we've had this card before, Maka, and you know that this deck of cards, it comes from the Lakota perspective. And for those of you who might not be familiar with the Lakota Nation, it's an indigenous nation here in the United States. They're part of the Osheti Sakoi, which is the Great Sioux Nation. You might know them more by that name. And so we're learning a little of the Lakota language as well as we use the cards. And so Maka is earth. Earth. And the last time we had this card, I shared that in the Ho-Chunk language, which was my grandmother, she was Ho-Chunk. Maka actually is in Ho-Chunk means medicine. So I find it fascinating, interesting. The Lakota word Maka is earth. And for those of us who've been to either South Dakota or North Dakota, this looks a lot like it, doesn't it? There's a lot of prairie. It's a part of the Great Plains. It's about the prairie. It's pretty flat. There are some mountains. The Badlands are there. Yeah. The Black Hills, Hisapa, or is it Haysapa? Haysapa? I think that's the correct pronunciation. The Black Hills, Haysapa. And this card is all about nurturing. And it's how Grandmother Earth nurtures us, nurtures all of her children. She provides everything for us, no matter where we live. Whether you live here on Turtle Island, the United States, or if you live all the way across the pond in England, right? That Grandmother Earth is still taking care of us. And so in the authors for this deck, they include a channeled message from the spirit or the medicine of each of the cards. So here is the channeled message from Earth. It says, I am of the four sustainers, gifts of your mother to you, that you may have life upon her body. I give you clear teaching of the way of love. Look to me, the earth, the soil. Consider what I am made. Consider how it is that I renew myself, how it is that I bring forth new life. I live in a continual cycle of giving and receiving. My way of being always is the circle of love. Yeah. Yeah. And they also include the traditions, the Lakota traditions of what the spiritual things that they're bringing to us. Okay, the spiritual natures. And so here in the tradition of the Lakota is Earth is one of the four elemental spirits. The center of the lodge, the sweat lodge, represents the womb of Mother Earth, who gives life to all living things. We enter the lodge to be reborn. We give thanks to Mother Earth for giving us the food on which we live. And so when you're entering a inipi, a sweat lodge, that is that the person who's pouring the waters for that lodge, when they're part of the Sioux Nation, there's certain etiquette, right? Certain ways of being able to behave within the sacredness of it. And so when you're entering the inipi, it is I would call it a wigwam because I live in the eastern part of the United States, east of the Mississippi. Okay, and so our structures are called wigwams. And west of the Mississippi, most people know that their home structures are called teepees, right? But the sweat lodge, the inipi, looks more like the structure itself looks more like a wigwam. And so the doorway is very low, so you can't just walk into the inipi. You actually have to kind of crawl in. Okay. And so there is this, when you're at the doorway, you're not quite into the inipi yet, right? What we do is you put your hands on the ground and you come down and you're talking to the earth, okay? And you're saying Mitakuyasan. Mitakuyasan. That in the Lakota language, that means all my relatives or all my relation. And that you're addressing all of our relatives, the earth. You're addressing other two-leggeds, four-leggeds, those who fly, those who crawl, those who swim, all of our relatives, Mitakuyasan, right? And then you enter the inipi. And, in some places you can actually kind of walk in like a little bit of a crouch to go around to where you're going to be seated. It's so much easier just to crawl in. It is. It's so much easier just to crawl in than trying to crouch walk all the way around. Yeah. So Kimberly's here too. She says, "Hi, Neshi. Lovely to be watching. I'm with a group on the beautiful Lake Como. Really? In Italy? Oh, you're on holiday? You're on holiday? Good for you. And thank you for tuning in and watching. I really do appreciate that, taking the time to do that. So Maka. Now, the card meaning itself is about, it says, think about how to accept nurturing. How do you accept it from others and even from yourself? Nurturing and caring begin within. Attend to your body's needs along with the emotional and spiritual hungers, and allow yourself to accept all that you require. Listen to the needs of others and provide nurturing to them. Nurturing is a two-way process that helps us develop, grow, and sustain life. Using positive, encouraging language when describing how you are and activities in your life. Appreciate yourself. You deserve it. So this is all about nurturing and how we care for ourselves and how we care for others. And you remember in the channeled message, the earth was telling us that that she is in a continual cycle of giving and receiving, And so we can even take a look at how we receive and how do we give, and is it in balance, right? And so, as you kind of take that inward look, right? That inward look, and to be honest with ourselves. Now, generally speaking, and I know that we're getting better at this. I know that we are. Um, as light workers, as energy workers, many times we tend to give more than what we receive. And especially if you're a woman, if you're a female, many times we do that automatically, right? We're constantly giving. And when it's our turn to receive, many times, oh, I'm fine. No, I'm okay. No worries. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Rather than saying, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Because we do, right? When somebody does something for us, a lot of times we try to I don't act like we don't need the assistance or don't need the help or the good thoughts coming our way. And so it's just time to be able to take some evaluation, taking stock, right? Noticing how far you've come in balancing giving and receiving. Because I know that we're aware of it, right? We're aware of it. That's what one of the things about being an awakened soul is, right? Is the awareness. And so, and finding ways that work for us individually, that when we balance it out. Have you found a good way to be able to do that for yourself? So you feel good about it and the other person feels good too, right? And a lot of times all it is just, yes, thank you. Or yes, please. Yeah, and I can hear Polly Jo LeBay, who's one of our show hosts. She also talks about boundaries and to say no when you need to say no, right? And not to feel guilty about it. Not to feel guilty about it. Because I tell you what, those that are in our lives, and unfortunately they're usually family, they will try to get you to do something that you really don't want to do. And it's only because it will make them, I don't know, feel better or to achieve what they're looking for, right? Which is fine. That's good too. It's just that when you need to say no and draw that boundary line, then to be able to say it in a good way, right? And to be able to mean the no and not say yes just because you think, oh, okay, I suppose I should do this one. Or the guilt trips, right? Right. And you guys, know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So being able to look at how we can balance giving and receiving and being thankful for the nurturing that we do receive. Grandmother Earth, she provides so much for us, doesn't she? Our entire life. The food that we eat, the houses that we live in, the clothes that we wear, the water that we drink. She provides so much for us. And so to be able to be grateful to her as well, right? Yeah. And when it's possible, is to be able to do something for her, whether it's picking up trash, recycling, using paper straws or stainless steel straws rather than plastic. Doing little things in our lives that will make a big difference when we all kind of get together and we're doing the same thing, right? Yeah. It's kind of like, remember when you were a kid and your mother would tell you, go to your room and clean your room. Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? Is just to be able to be responsible for our own backyards, our own front yards, is to start there and to pick up the trash and to do good things there, right? And then you can branch out to your own community. Maybe there's a community cleanup, or perhaps if you feel so inclined, is to join, those activists that are protecting the water, right? Those kinds of things. Do what's comfortable for you, and to be able to say yes and mean yes. Don't say yes when you really mean no, right? It's about good balance. It's about a good balance. Maka, earth. Yeah. To be close to her, we had 3 cards today. And what's interesting is the combination. The combination. The second card we had way early in May. And Sicun is intellect. Look at that picture. Okay. So we have a Native American man with a full war bonnet that's all eagle feathers, which means that he is a leader. He's been in battle. He's a warrior. He's also carrying a pipe, a sacred pipe. So he's a pipe carrier. And all the animals that are around him, right? And there are a lot. Got red-headed woodpeckers and horse and buffalo, rabbit, antelope, or maybe that's a deer, bear, got fox and wolf, got cat, got mice. This is the depiction of all our relatives, right? Because there's trees in there too. There's probably stone people somewhere. It's a nice way to show all our relatives, but also to show our connection to our relatives that help us, our allies, our power animals, our totems. Yeah. And so this is about the intellect. It's about discerning for ourselves, right? Yeah. Discerning for ourselves. Oh, Edward said, my laptop turned itself off. You wonder how and why does that happen? Because it has happened to me too. Thank God not when I'm live streaming. But so I'm glad you're back. And he also says the wise stag is a symbol in Celtic culture too. Yeah, it is. And especially like over in Ireland, and I don't know much about England, but I know that to see a stag in the wild is like it's very rare. And so it carries a lot of meaning to it when you see one. Here in the United States, we see I don't know, that could be an elk actually. We see elk and whitetail or blacktail deer. We see a lot of deer. They're like everywhere. They're a sign of abundance, just like the buffalo, Tatanka. Yeah. And so here is the channeled message, okay, for this card. It says about the intellect. It says, I am the Creator's gift to humanity. I separate humanity's path from all other paths in creation. As with all gifts, I am to be received by you with gratitude and used with wisdom. Through me, a human is changed from a blind follower of unknown laws to a decision maker. This requires acknowledgement of vast stimuli on a conscious and unconscious level. This requires an internal faith in this mechanism. This requires responsibility for actions taken. I am that which allows for this process, which allows for integration of spirit and mind. I enable you to evaluate and choose. Use me as I have been intended with compassion. Yeah. I really do like this card and the meaning behind it, because so many times we talk about balance, right? And the balance of our mental mind and our heart, our emotions. The balance between thought and emotion, right? That we need them both. We need them both, and we need them in balance. When we live our lives more from our mental mind, we're usually very ungrounded and we don't have very much compassion, right? And the reverse is possible too, and that is to live more of your life from your heart and only your emotions. And there again, you're ungrounded, and many times you'll hear people talk about kind of flighty, and they say they're going to do one thing and they don't do it, and so they're right. But when you have the balance between your head and your heart, we're living our lives from our high heart. And with this particular card, the meaning behind it is that to use our intellect, but to use it in a compassionate way. So they're talking about that balance between the head and the heart. And with that compassion, we can reach out to so many more souls. We can reach out to all of our relatives. So that we have a way to be able to discern for ourselves our decisions, right? All right. So with the tradition, in the Lakota tradition, this is how they view intellect. It says, as humanity grew into his role taker for the earth, the Great Spirit gave humans intellect and the knowledge of right and wrong. In modern times, the balance of intellect and intuition has been lost. This imbalance has separated us from our sisters and our brothers, the four-leggeds and the winged ones, those who crawl and those who swim. It has separated us from the elements and from Earth Mother. Using intellect in rhythm with the heartbeat of Earth Mother is to walk in balance. Okay? So we have these two cards that came, right? We had Maka, Earth first, and then we have Sicun, which is the intellect. It's about discerning. And so we've been given the great power to reason and the capacity for knowledge and understanding. Our intellect provides us with judgment, rational thinking, and the ability to handle new and difficult situations. This is a gentle reminder to use it wisely, to use our intellect wisely. It says, let your mind provide you with the helpful information that you need in any given moment. But be wary of getting caught up in the thinking process for its sake alone. Balance your ability to learn and reason with your ability to feel and to express emotion. You have been given the power of the mind. Remember to give your heart equal time. Use your intellect to mesh thought and feeling as you walk your path. It's a nice way of saying being in balance, right? It says both are necessary to keep you on track. Let them carry you as a team. Now, I've never heard it put that way before. Have you? It says both are necessary to keep you on track. Let them carry you as a team. Sometimes your heart will propel you and your mind will steer you along your course. Other times it will be your curiosity that drives you and your heart that keeps you from straying. It is your privilege to discern when to be guided by your intellect, and when to let your heart direct your way. One without the other will never secure your best interest. Oh my goodness. That is it's a huge message, isn't it? Is that we do need our intellect. We even need our ego. When our ego is in balance, right? It helps us with our motivation, with our drive to keep moving forward. Yeah. Keep moving forward. And it's talking about the balance between our head and our heart. So that when we do our discernment, and we've learned that when we talk about discerning, it's really our soul that's making the decision, sifting through the information to make a decision, a discerning decision, right? So that when we're in balance, we can actually hear and feel that higher aspect of ourselves much more clearer, right? Yeah. All right. I'm going to catch up with you guys in the chat room. So hang on just a second. We left off with Edward and the stag and Lockfee Moonflower. I hope I pronounced that right. Sorry if I didn't. From Maryland. Good afternoon from Maryland. Lockfee, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Hey, Julia's here too. Hi, Julia. Good to have you here. And look, Auntie PJ's in the house. Polly Jo LeBay. Hello, all. Yeah. Your furry nephew's sleeping underneath my table, practically on my feet. Rob, what do you know, Polly Jo? Exactly. Hey, Pat's here too. Joining late. We'll catch the replay. No worries, right? That's why we have those. And Rob is saying, I missed the message trying to fix an EDI issue. Oh. Well, there's always the archives, right? And because we use them too. The show hosts, we absolutely do, because we can't always be in the live chats for each other's shows. And so we do go and listen to each other's shows through the archives too. All right. So for Rob's sake, all right. So Maka card, Earth, was the first card. Sicun is about the intellect, and that came second. A second card. And the Sicun is about discernment. It's taking in all the information. And when we're saying all information, we're talking about data. We're talking about, something that you read, something that you watch. Yes. But you're also taking in information from your other sources. You're taking them in through your heart, through your other bodies, your emotional body, your physical body, your spiritual body, right? You're taking all information in. And so when we're grounded and centered, we take in a heck of a lot more information. It's just not through the mental mind, right? Yeah. And so that's what this leads to, is that when we are able to balance our head and our heart, and we're grounded to Grandmother Earth, to Maka, we can really make good decisions for ourselves, balanced decisions. Yeah. And that we can do it with compassion. We can use our intellect with compassion. That's what it means to be balanced between the head and the heart. Yeah. And so when we're even making decisions on how much are we going to reciprocate with Grandmother Earth, right? Her nurturing that she gives us. How do we give back to her? Because she's in a constant cycle of giving and receiving. So how do we give to her? Right? Yeah. What do we do in return? How do we show her our love? All right. And here's the third card. I don't believe we've had this particular card. Wani. It's the 4 directions. Wani. You see 4 horses here. Yep. 4 horses. 2 of them have their front legs up, back legs on the ground, and the other 2 have all 4 legs on the ground. So we got balance, right? We're connected to Grandmother Earth, but we are also connected to Grandfather Sky. The 4 directions. It's about lessons. Wani is about lessons. The channeled message for this one is I am the wind that travels from the 4 directions, carrying and depositing the seeds of life. Like the snow, my seed disappears into the earth only to reappear in a new form. I am the circle of your consciousness, which grows and expands through experience to the place of beauty, the place where all life is known to be celebration and joy. I'm going to say that one again because that's pretty good. It says, I am the circle of your consciousness, which grows and expands through experience to the place of beauty, the place where all life is known to be celebration and joy. Yeah. So we're talking about the heart. It says, I am the cry of the newborn who feels the first pangs of separation and wholeness. I am the cry of all life that comes into the awareness of the mystery. My friends, do not stop that which is growing. Allow the garden of life to give all of its gifts to you in all forms, even unto death, which is no ending but a continuation of the circle of life. Wani, the 4 directions. And so in the Lakota tradition, it says that Tate, the wind, sent his sons to create the 4 cardinal points to the west, north, east, and south. Wani is the deep spiritual meaning in Lakota teachings. Wa, here, I'm going to show it to you. Wa means snow, and Ni means life. As if to say, I am alive now. The snow melts into the earth, helping all to live. Its seasonal passing nourishes the circle of life. The dimensions of space and time established by the 4 directions are the source of harmony and proportion in the physical world, the means by which our senses teach us the beauty of creation. Life is so beautiful, we must learn to walk with life in a beautiful way. So it's about balance, right? It's about balance and recognizing the circle of life. That even though our physical body returns to Grandmother Earth, our soul, our spirit continues on to the next experience. And to be here on Earth is to experience. And in the channeled message, it says, I am the circle of your consciousness, which grows and expands through experience to the place of beauty. And so in order to just even to be in this physical life, we have experience here on Earth. Within each experience, we have an expansion. We gain wisdom, right? We learn a life lesson through the experience. We gain the wisdom from that. And our wisdom then we can take back to our community. And that's walking the good road, the good red road, is to take our wisdom, our experience back to our community in service to them. And so with the 4 directions, they provide that experience, that expansion. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good. And so the 4 directions in the cards, it has its own lessons to teach us. It says some difficult, some immediately clear. Some can be elusive. That's for sure. Because we're always looking for, what does that mean, right? Why do I have to experience this? Why do I have to go through that dark night of the soul? And we all know that dark night of the soul experience is huge soul growth when we surrender to whatever that is, and request that assistance from spirit, from the creator, right? Yeah, and it's not until we're on the other side of it that we gain that wisdom, and then we can take it back to our community. But the 4 directions actually bring us the experience. Yeah. So what does that mean altogether, though? Right? When you put all 3 cards together that came this morning, right? You put them all together. See if we can see them all at the same time here. So we had Maka. That was the first card. Earth. It's about the balance of giving and receiving. It's about nurturing. Nurturing. How do we nurture ourselves? How do we nurture others? How do we do that in a balanced way? Right? And then we got Sicun, which is the intellect, and it's about discernment. And it's using our intellect with compassion. With compassion. And so when we make those decisions about how to do our giving and receiving, how do we nurture others? How do we nurture ourselves? Where we can use our intellect to gather the information. Gather the information in a balanced way, both head and heart, to make that decision. Right? And all of that comes with, and the 4 directions is about experience. That through that experience that we're having with that balance in the giving and the receiving and nurturing, we can take that back to our community so that we're a role model. It's just not our words, it's our actions, and how we can live life in a balanced way, that we can live our life from our high heart, really, because we have the balance between our head and our heart. Yeah. Balance. Hey, Christina's here too. Hello, Christina Molloy. Good to have you here. Yeah. And she's asking for, would love a message from Spirit. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Really. Thank you for that. This particular show, Spiritual Roundtable, what we do is I draw cards in the morning and bring them the information to you as the audience. And we share and talk about the information and how it relates to us today. The intention for the card draw in the morning is I'm talking to my spiritual team and I'm asking them if they could please show us the information, the energy that's flowing today that's most important for our soul growth, for our highest good and the highest good of all. And so it's for the entire group. Okay, it's for the entire group. So whatever it is that was shared that resonates with you, Christina, then that piece is for you, right? So it's not an individual card draw, but for the group and whatever resonates with you. Now, if you enjoy doing those card draws, join us this evening at 7 p.m. for Soul Connections with Polly Jo LaBay. That's right. She just wrote that in there. And so she does individual card draws. in the second half of that time together. Okay, so join us tonight. That would really be great. I produce her show, so I'll be there too. And so with these cards today, there's so much that we could take in from this, right? Because I think we also have to look at how do we give back? How do we nurture Grandmother Earth? Because she gives us so much. How do we return that to her? How do we nurture her? Because as two-leggeds, we were given this gift of the intellect. And how do we use our intellect with compassion when we're taking care of our grandmother and all of our relatives? And see, he's got all those animals around him, right? How do we, as a two-legged that has an intellect, use our intellect with compassion so that we can nurture and give back to Grandmother Earth, right? And with those lessons, the experience that come, maybe it's through that experience that we've already had, wisdom that we've already gained, can help us make those kind of decisions with compassion about how we take care of our grandmother. Because we're all in this together. All of us, all the relatives are in this together. What did they say? That, that we only have one earth. It's not like we get a do-over. And so we have to make those kind of decisions, from the really little ones to the really big ones. Are you recycling? What kind of straws do you use? Do you, all the way down to, do you buy locally your food? Right? There's those decisions that sometimes we don't take time to really consider. We just do them, trying to get through the day. Yeah. But we were given this gift called intellect. And so how do we use that with that compassion for others and for ourselves? It's a good one. Yeah. Christina's saying, "Oh, okay, sorry, but no worries." She says, "I love this though. Thank you for what you do." Oh, you're welcome, Christina. And I'm glad you're here. I really am. Yeah, no worries. This is part of the when we share the live streams, because here at Star Nations, Christina, we have 13 live stream shows, and they're all based on spirituality. And so, and every show host will ask you to please like and share the live stream, right? I don't know. I kind of call it almost like a light worker or energy worker civic duty, because whenever we find a post, a video, a live stream that is helpful to us on our journey, that when we share it, there's going to be somebody else looking for the same information. And so it's easier for someone else to be able to find it because you liked it and you shared it, right? And it helps us to be in the newsfeed a bit more often. There's so much information, energy that is in Facebook and other social media that posts they get buried really fast, don't they? You might read something, you think, "Oh, that was really good. I should have saved it or marked it or somehow," and you go back to look for it, and you can't find it. I don't know if you guys have ever had that happen, but yeah, so thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And Edward's saying, "You can't Botox Mother Earth. She needs real care." Yeah, exactly. She needs our care, how we care for her from our hearts and from our intellect. Because listen, there's so many things that could happen in a good way, right? Did you ever read that one meme? And it was about a young man who had developed a way to clean the oceans. of all the plastic and garbage. And it shows how with his invention, the water flows into a container and all the garbage is trapped in the container. And so two-leggeds have to go over and change the container, get it throw it away and get it taken care of, the things that were collected, the garbage that was collected. Or what is that? Sea shepherd. One of our authors here at Star Nations, Madonna DePaulo, we just published her first children's book. It's called The Sound Weavers. And she talks about, in this children's book, she talks about how we take care of the oceans, right? And there's an organization called Sea Shepherds, and they endorsed her book. They said, oh, this is a great book, and they even actually helped her with her book launch. But one of the things that they do, because they're international, they are international waters, and they will go through and remove netting that has been left out there in the oceans. And so they're cleaning up the oceans and taking away the netting that a lot of sea animals get caught in and die because they literally drowned. So so it's with our two-legged intellect, right, is how we can help nurture Grandmother Earth and clean up our own mess, right? Clean up our own mess through our intellect. All that innovation. And sometimes just common sense. Just common sense, Using trash cans when you're out in public. That's a novel idea, huh? Madonna, again, she took a picture of a beach because she lives out on the East Coast. Took a picture of a beach that's in her neighborhood that on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, right? There was a big beach party. And what was left behind after the party the next day, and all the trash, and it's like you're looking at this picture thinking, why would they not pick up after themselves? There's trash cans there. All they had to do is throw their trash in a trash can. But no, there was a team of volunteers that showed up the next day to pick up someone else's trash. And I'm saying good for the volunteers, right? Grateful for them. And yet, so human intellect. I like that, Edward. I can't Botox Mother Earth. No. Nope. I wanted to show this one again about I really like this card. All the animals on there. You got the eagle. And there's red-headed woodpeckers. And the man's outfit is gorgeous. It's a lot of beadwork on that one. And so how we nurture others, how we discern for ourselves with compassion. There's I want to call it a story, but it's more than that. That with on the medicine wheel, the Native American medicine wheel, there's many different interpretations of it and how to live by it, right? And one of the many variations in there is that there's a way to be able to equate it to race, okay? And so in the East, they have, it was supposed to be the Asian race, okay? The color yellow. In the South, the color red for the Native American, right? And in the West is the color black for the African, right? And in the North is the color white for, the white, right? And that we're all in this together. And that we're in those cardinal directions, so that we can share our energy, and it all goes into the center where the Creator resides, and it all becomes one, right? And that each one of us are responsible for an aspect. And it said that the Native American was responsible for Mother Earth, right? That's one of the variations. Personally, I think that we're all responsible for her care. That it's just not one of the clans. It's the whole. Everybody has a responsibility to take care of her, not just one. Huh. Oh my goodness. Sometimes our spiritual committees, our spiritual teams, they're really good at getting messages across, aren't they? All right. So with that, taking one last look at them together, really taking in, I'm going to move this one over, really take in, got to make sure I put them in the right order here, really take in all possible ways the information coming from these cards to you, in the seen and the unseen. And whatever resonates with you today with these cards, is my suggestion is to embrace that resonation, and to see how it helps you today. As the energy unfolds around you, is just to notice how this information could be helpful, right? And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. There's always tomorrow's cards, right? Sorry, not tomorrow. I have to take tomorrow because I have another meeting I have to be at tomorrow. But on Sunday, the next time I'm back is on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And some of that card draw, you never know how those cards are going to resonate with you, right? Yeah. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And I do appreciate you being here with me today. I enjoy our conversations, and I enjoy sharing about the essence of these cards with you. I really do. So enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully you'll join us back here at 7 p.m. at Chakra Sessions fan page for Polly Joe's evening show, Soul Connections, at 7 p.m. And on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time is Connie Shearwater's show, and that is Spiritual Mysteries of Life, and that's on at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? With that, enjoy your day. Baba Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.